Why is it on freeze? I didn't know it was on freeze. Yep. Okay. So, you finished? What will go into 27? 3 and 9, right? And what will go into 9?
3.
And what will go into 3? And there is your answer. 2 times 3 to the third power. And yes, you will get the same answer using the factor tree, but I don't want you using it yet. I want you to learn this method first, and you'll see why. So let's do a nerd. Let's do 110. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. All right, do that one. Oh, and some of you might have got confused when I said something about Starfish. And if y'all did, I will show you what Starfish is. Go to your Get Connected.
Isn't that where you set up the appointments or something?
Yeah. And you talk to your advisor or your teachers. It's an easy way. It's a communications portal is all it is. And you're going to have up here where it says students, you're going to have teachers. And then you might have advisor, or you might be able to put right here instead of, you might be able to type instructor, and it'll throw all your instructors up and their emails and their phone numbers, or your advisor. You hit it, it's not going to say students on yours.
It shows the list of teachers.
Okay, good. And if you want to email all the teachers, let me show you how to do that. Let's say this is all your teachers. You just click on this right here and hit send message, and you can send them a message, like if you're sick or if you're going to be out of town or whatever. And this takes away the excuse of, oh, I had to go through and find all your email addresses and all that. And I love it because now I can email my classes, and there y'all are, right there. And I can email y'all, boom, boom, boom. I just click, or just the ones I like, I can just do them.
You can like anybody?
No.
No, there you go.
So it's something that y'all can use. It's very handy.
So did you say?
Pre-advising. When pre-advising rolls around for fall, or for fall for spring, and spring for summer and fall, there's a 1-month window that we assign for students to go by their advisor, sign up, and get ready for the next semester. Half of you do it, half of you do not. And then you cry and whine when you can't find your advisor, and it's during the break between semesters. Well, where's your advisor? At home.
On vacation.
Exactly. And then you get mad because we're not here.
You had money and time.
That's it. And now, with Starfish, we can send y'all our schedule, and it will hit you right between the eyes with your email, and we can put received receipt. So when you click on it, it'll say the student has received it. So that way you can't say you didn't receive it.
That's more why.
Yep. So, okay.
Something to get sick.
Huh?
Something to get sick, kind of.
It's under Get Connected. Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't there last semester.
No, this is brand new. They just rolled it out this semester. And I done went through and put my profile on there because we got a silver, let's see, we got a pewter star. We went to training on this like last Tuesday, something like that. I had to go up to Pendleton for 2 hours and sit through it. But it was good training because this is good. And you go through and set up, this is for y'all to see. And y'all can set up y'all's also. I mean, if you want to. It's kind of like an academic Facebook. That's kind of like what it is, but it's not as generic as Facebook. It's more of advising based. So that's what it's, and you can do this, and you can set up everything. And I put the same stuff that's on my information sheets. I put it on there, so you get a little bit. And those of you that are going to take my class, you could look it up there and see your teachers. So you need to get acquainted with it because it's actually a good little program to use. So that's just something for your information. And this thing hadn't crashed, and I'm starting to get pissed. All right. Oh, I said pissed. Oh my God.
Don't you find out when you want something to happen,
I know.
it's not gonna happen, and
Like,
you don't want it to
yeah.
happen?
All right, so I'm going to break it up into 2 times what? 55. Then what? 5 times 11. And 11. And there is your answer. 2 times 5 times 11. 2 times 5 times 11.
Does it matter the order?
No, ma'am. But why will it matter in the end? Because you read from left to right. So put it in order in the answer.
So you want like
Well, no, some of the questions in homework will say put it in ascending order. It does. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Just watch the directions. Ascend means what?
Smallest order.
Go from bottom up. Okay? Descend means go from top to bottom. Dang old ascension for some of y'all that have read the Bible, which is a historic book. Okay, I got to say that because if I don't say it's a historic book, somebody will go tell that I'm trying to preach. Okay? So it's a historic book. I'm being sarcastic, but ascension, up, going up, descending, dang old going to hell. Oh my God, he said hell. Okay, let's do a nerd. How about 420? 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. What? I ain't no pothead.
What?
I ain't got no use for potheads. You know that. I got more respect for a thief than I do for a pothead.
He's been doing it. He becomes legal.
In South Carolina, don't hold your breath.
Like 20 years.
I'll probably move.
No.
I mean, honestly, haven't we got enough deadheads walking around to have a few more walking around? I mean, you got kids right now, can't you tell you the President of the United States?
I didn't say I agreed with it.
No, I'm just saying. That's why we used to walk down the dark hall and knock them down.
Good to know.
All right? I'm going to start you off. What's a good number that you know will go in there? 2. Well, how did you know that, Hubert? Well, you can go to Google. I'm not going to cover it for you, but I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to help you out. If you never learned those rules, I'm going to show you where to find them. Go to your handy dandy Google and type in, I just forgot what I was looking for. Type in, I must have done too much marijuana. Divisibility rules. That's all you got to type in. Now, I know some of y'all, this is a lot of work because you actually have to type it in and you have to push a button. But some of y'all, if y'all could get away from y'all's busy schedules, divisibility, I can't spell it, rules. I can't, no, I'm not doing too well. There it is, rules, there we go. And hit enter, and then hit images. And there they are. Pick whichever one you want, they're all the same. This is paramount for you to know what numbers go into what numbers. So if you've never seen these before, you might want to put them on the front of your notebook or something, or make a card and put it on your mirror that you fix yourself up every morning. I'm not talking to you because I'm talking to the females. You got that? There ain't nothing wrong with females making themselves look pretty. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Just so long as you don't turn into Oompa Loompa. You ever seen Oompa Loompas? Yeah. There we go. We'll look at it right quick. Oompa Loompa doopity-doo. Look, it's real simple. There's the Oompa Loompas. Now that's what you're used to. But here's the Oompa Loompas that you see in real life. Where?
Right up there.
I don't see. Oh yeah, that's her. There's a Oompa Loompa.
Like in real life?
They're orange. Yep. And she thinks she's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the sad thing. She thinks.
Yeah. And there's another one in here. There she is.
So people like do that in real life? And they no, and I want to because I'm laughing at it.
They're called Oompa Loompas. There's another one. And she's like, they show the different shades of Oompa Loompas. Well, you have to look for it. There's one. There's a male Oompa Loompa.
So they do this on purpose?
Well, they think, what they do is they get addicted to the tanning bed. Yeah, and they just keep on and keep on. There is a guy that works out at the gym, and he's bald-headed, and he is purple because he does the injections. He does the injections with the, what do you call the stuff that makes you tan? It's not melatonin, is it? Something like that.
Melatonin makes you sleep.
Yeah, something like this. It's a word like that that's in your skin. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyway, they inject that into, and he's done it so much that he's not black, and he's not brown, and he's not white. He's purple.
Oh, what color was he?
White. I mean, he is a purple-looking. I can't find the Oompa Loompa, but there's one on here. There's an Oompa Loompa. She's a black-headed Oompa Loompa. Oops. Oh, well. Oh, there's one. Yeah.
So it's like an overprocessed Barbie.
Microwaved. Okay. Anyway, get you get that. Put that in the brain housing group so you'll know how to divide. But most of the time, most of your numbers are going to be divisible by 2 and 3, huh?
It's melanin.
Melanonin.
Melanin.
Okay.
What he's getting injected.
Okay. Melanonin or something like that. They say it. It's got like 15 syllables.
A doctor actually do that?
I wish I could actually. No, they do it themselves.
They'll inject anything you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and people are dumb enough to make it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's your divisibility rules. Like I say, you have to type it in and hit a button and maybe hit print. So, it's major work for some of y'all. So, I hope y'all can work it out to where you can fix it in your schedule. That's even worse. They have to open the book. Okay. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah.
You're so encouraging.
No, I'm serious. Some of my students, and I say that because I've got students in my 102. Some of them hadn't even went and bought a book. What are they waiting on? Say they ain't got money. Okay, I understand you ain't gonna have money. Why ain't you logged on? You don't need money because there's a temporary access that you can get on. When it asks for the accept, you got 14 days that you can go ahead and start working on your work. I have people not even signed up. And then they wonder why they can't pass math. All right, so how many times will 2 go into 420? 210. Still ended in 0. If it ends in 0, you can divide it by what?
5 or 2.
I'm going to just keep going by 2s. What's half of 210?
105.
Okay, there goes our 2s. Can't divide by 2 anymore. But it ends in 5, so we can divide by 5. So 5 will go in there, dang old 21 times. And 3 will go in there 7 times. And 7 1 time. So there is our answer. So our final answer is 2 to the second. Two to the second times 3 times 5 times 7. That's your answer. Now, most of the time this is not a problem. Most of y'all can do this. And some of y'all might have divided by 5 first. That's fine. But do you still get this answer? Yes. Is this the correct way to write it? Yes, because we read from left to right. Unless you're from Middle East, Masalama. If you're from here, you read from left to right. So it should be naturally for you to write the answer in terms of left to right. It always amazes me how y'all write y'all's answers 7 times 3 times 5 times 2. There's no order whatsoever. You just 3 times 7 times 2 times 5. I don't understand that. And you've been reading left to right all your life, but you don't have any organization when it comes to writing this out. You just 7 times 2 times 5 times 3. No order whatsoever. Okay? Let's try another. And this time we're going to do 2 numbers. Let's do 60 and 130. So go ahead and do that. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. Now, I have seen 3 or 4 of y'all with an instrument that I have not said that you need. We are doing elementary math. Do I need to say any more? Okay?
Can we make those 2 separate?
Well, you need to make it one because I'm wanting you to work them together because I'm leading up to finding the least common multiple and the greatest common divisor. So you need to work them together. You're only going to be able to go so far. You're not going to be able to get it down to what you've been doing. Two, 3, 5, 7, 11, sometimes 13. It's not going to crash. I wonder if I just write a bunch of stuff.
There you go, Picasso.
I cannot believe this thing is not going to crash.
It knows I got my camera out, so it doesn't like it.
What?
It knows I have my camera out. It's waiting.
Yeah.
Put some color in.
Did I hit something? Was that what I hit a while ago when it messed up? I guess if I was writing numbers, I guess it would crash. But I can do this all day long.
When you don't want it to.
Yeah. Do you know how many mathematical calculations it takes to draw a circle? And it's not crashing.
Really?
But I drew a 4 a while ago and it crashed. Evidently, it's not going to crash now.
Are you still recording?
Yep.
Well, that's good. At least you got it set.
Yeah, the problem is, if it crashes, it erases the video.
That sucks.
So I won't be able to go back and get it.
But it's not gonna crash, so they gonna enjoy it.
I don't know if y'all going to get to see the pretty picture. All right. 5, you can start with 5 and you can start with 2, either one. I'm going to start with 2 because I'm one of these people that if I can't figure out how something is divisible, I always try to divide 2 into it. Just like, I'm trying to think of some application of what I'm talking about. Okay, reducing fractions. Sometimes I don't think about the divisibility rules with fractions. You have 18 at the top and a 32 on the bottom. I just start dividing by 2 till I get down to and that's just the way I do things. So I always divide by 2 or 3. And if you can't divide by 2 or 3, then you always got 5 to back up on. One of those 3, usually 90% of the time, will go into your number. So I'm going to divide by 2. And that's going to give me a 30 and a 75. No, 65. Help me out. 65?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm limited now because I can't divide by 2 anymore, but I can divide by 5. Because 0 and 5. So 5 be 6.
13.
And 5 will go in there one time. Good. 13. And those of you that 5 will go into 6, how many times? One time. Write the 1 down. And then think in your head there's 1 left over. That'd be 15. 5 will go into 15 3 times. Now, a lot of you saying, well, why you got to do that? You're knocking the cobwebs off in your brain is what you're doing. Unless you just want to be a zombie. I mean, if you want to not know how to critically think, if you want to not know how to solve problems in real life, nobody's ever going to walk up to you and ask you what the prime number of 60 and 130 is. Nobody's ever going to ask you that. But they will ask you to take a customer service problem, a financial problem, a personnel problem, a nursing problem, and find out what the problem is. And what's the first thing in finding the problem of anything? Break it up into its what? Parts. A mechanic. Anytime there's something wrong with the brakes of a car, what's the first thing they do? Take the wheels off. Why? Because you can't see the problem. If the wheels, you got to see what's going on in the brake housing or the brake calipers, and you can't see the brake calipers because the wheels on them. So the first thing you're going to do is break it down, and then you look and see if there's a leak. You get somebody to mash the brakes. That way you can see them working, see if one of them froze up. You've got to do that. That's breaking the problem down. If you can't do simple 5 will go into 6, that's the problem-solving process of your brain working. And if it's not developed, how are you going to solve problems? And that's why I'm so animate about these teachers that let students use calculators for basic math.
Boy, you would have hated my teachers.
Well, your teachers should not be teaching. So, the period. Well, I want to tell you a story. And I'm telling you a story for a reason. My daughter is in 10th grade. She's in 10th grade. And, you know, me being a terrible father that I am, I would walk her to class every day. I would take her to school every day at McLeese. At McLeese, I would take her to school every day, and I would walk her to class every day. And I would spend a few minutes with her in class every day just because she wanted me to. Being a terrible father. And,
So it's terrible.
I know. And in 2nd grade, she had a teacher. She was real bitch. She was very domineering, very controlling in her classroom. And this will show you what type of person she was. they had 5 questions, and some of you may have had second grade before. In second grade, they do 5 questions every day. And that has to do with reading, English, history, math, and science. Okay? They have 5 questions every day, and they don't change that much for that week. The next week, there'll be totally different questions. During that week, there'll be the same questions, but a little bit different. And then the next week, there'll be like totally different questions. Well, one day I was sitting in there and we were doing her questions. And one of the questions was this, and I'll write it on the board for you. Find the volume. Okay? That question was on the board. Now, what's the problem? No, that's not the problem. Huh? It's area. What's volume?
The inside.
Volume is the third dimension is added, like a milk carton. All right? Volume is 3-dimensional. Volume has to have a third dimension. No, that's perimeter. Okay? She's asking for the volume, but she's given a problem for the area. That's volume. But this is just length times width. This is area. So she needs to do one of 2 things. What's the one of 2 things?
Add something or change the question.
Exactly. All right. But teachers don't do that. We don't try to make each other look bad in front of each other. All right. That's just kind of like you don't do that. So I said, Lauren, is that correct? And she goes, no. I said, why? She said, it's supposed to be area. I said, okay. I said, why don't you ask Miss so-and-so? I said, she's not here. She's on the bigger and better thing. I think she's president of General Motors or something by now. Anyway, she, my daughter raised her hand. She said, Miss Odom, is number, I think it was number 5, it was the last one. Is number 5 okay? And is there anything wrong with number 5? And Miss So-and-so goes, no. We went over it. Just remember, we went over it the other day. I said, okay, don't worry about it. So the next day, that was like on Monday. The next day, came in, and it was number 3, and it was find the volume, and it was... Now, the reason I'm telling you this, I'm not chasing a rabbit here, but what you're talking about with your teacher, I'm getting there. 4 and 2. And it was number 3. Okay, so that's how they change them.
Still saying volume.
Mm-hmm. And I raised my hand that day. And I said, Miss So-and-so, is number 3, is that correct? And she goes, yeah.
Did she know you were a math teacher?
Oh, yeah. But she knows way more than I do. She's that type of person.
Of course.
And if you walked in there and showed an error on the space shuttle, she would know that you were wrong about it. She's that type of person. So anyway, I said, okay, so on the way out, I went by and I spoke to the, what do they call it? Educational specialist, which is like a vice principal, but all they do is sit at the front. You know, they don't do anything. Yeah. No, but she's a principal. So I went to her, I said, I wrote the problem down and I said, can you tell me if this is correct? And she looked at it and she said, no, that's not correct. I said, well, Miss So-and-so has had that on her board the last 2 days, and I've tried to point it out to her twice. And I said, and a lot of you may say, well, Hubert, you're being trivial. No, I'm not. She's teaching the wrong stuff.
Yeah, she don't need to be out there teaching.
Exactly. And that's what I was fixing to tell you. It took me to go to the principal. And the principal finally told her to change that question. She wouldn't change it because I said something about it.
I would be glad someone was pointing it out.
Oh no, she's not that type of person. She's like my ex-wife. I'm sorry. She's like my She is never wrong. Have you ever met somebody like that?
Yeah.
Some
Never
teachers
wrong.
like
Yeah.
that.
At what side?
No, he's at Southwood.
Who
But
is
they're
it?
doing
Who is
the
it?
click scales. She graduated back to cum laude, and so that's.
Oh, my God.
I graduated, oh Lordy, meaning thank God. All right, that is supposed to be area, or are you supposed to, hang on.
Release these.
Now that would be the volume. Always remember a milk carton. A milk carton is volume, and a wall is area. Okay, I'll shut up now. Anyway, back to the problem at hand.
Actually, I thought that was funny, but
Well, my point of telling you that, and did I tell y'all that last time? The point I tell you is this stuff we're doing right here is simple, but you got a lot of people teaching math that don't need to be teaching math because they just suck at it. They don't know how to do it themselves. Okay, so is there anything that will go into these two numbers?
Not the same.
No. So what I want you to say here is the real. I'm going to do it in a different color. I'm going to do it in green. I'm going to put RMS. Real math stops. And when the real math stops, you have just found whatever that word is. I think it's the least common multiple. We got to look in the book. I can't remember. Y'all look it up in the book. I'll write it out. I'll write the definition of it. The biggest number. I'm going to write it in black so you can see it. The biggest number that will go into 60 and 130. So what's the biggest number that will go into 60 and 130? 2 times 5 is?
5. Well,
2 times 5.
10.
10. That's it. 10. 10 is the least common multiple. I think this is the least common multiple. Y'all look it up.
So you multiply the two that are in that left-hand column?
Yep. 10 is the biggest number that will go into 60 and 130. Well, let's test it. Well, 20 will go into 60. Will 20 go into 130? No. 13 will go into 130. But will 13 go into 60? No. The biggest number that will divide into the two numbers given is 10. Now, that's not a big deal. The factor tree, you can find that. That's not a big deal. The next one is a big deal because the next one you can't find easily with the factor tree. Now, right here I put the real math stops. We're going to use now a kind of magic math. Miss Harper, what time is it?
2:05.
What time is class?
2:35.
2:35? Okay. All right. So I got to pick up my. We're going to have to get out early. We're going to have to get out. Miss Harper, you can tell me when it's 2:20, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we got to do something down here, and I call it magic math. All right. It's where you use a math to help you get the answer, but it's not legal math. All right. And that's why I put right here, real math stops. I want to make that distinction. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all this. Biggest number that will go into 60 and 130. You need to write that down. That's your least common multiple. Let's see if I can do this. I probably won't be able to. I didn't think so. Well, I'll move it. I can't believe I'm doing all this and it ain't crashing. Control C. I think this is copy, isn't it? Or is this copy? Grouped. Okay. And then next page. Control V. And we'll take that off right here. Really? know, with CAD, if you go from the right and the left, it will, but nope, not with this piece of crap. It does the whole thing. All right, I'm going to have to erase this too because I don't want it in the way. All right. So, I'm going to put up here, the least common multiple is 10. Yeah, that's all right. Just hurts my feelings. I'll have to go out and put smokestacks on my truck because my self-esteem went down.
Okay. Next sheet, take a picture.
And jack it up. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to keep going. Using these numbers, I want to get all ones on the bottom. That's the goal. To get all ones on the bottom. If it divides, do it. If it doesn't divide, bring it down. All right? Write that down if you need to. If it divides, do it. If it doesn't divide, just bring it down. You don't want any fractions or decimals. So let's pick a number to divide into 6 and 13. Well, there's no numbers. Well, just pick one of the numbers. Let's spit 6. All right, what will divide into 6?
2.
All right, so 2, and that'll be 3, and this comes down. The arrow means that I can't divide it, so I'm just bringing it down. That's the magic math. All right, what else? 3. 3 will go in there. Though, got one of our ones. Bring this down. Is there any number that will go into 13? Well, 13. So I'm going to put a 13 here. And that comes down. And there's one of my ones. So we got one of our ones. So that comes down, and that's a 1. And then what's 13 divided by 13? 1. So we're done. When we got those ones, we have our greatest common divisor. Now, you have to look, make sure I don't mix these up sometimes. The definitions are correct. I just forget what the names of them are. Greatest common divisor. And that's going to be, now I'm going to multiply this guy first. Why am I going to multiply that guy first? Because it comes first? No. Because 2 times 5 is 10. And 10, you can multiply, even the most challenged math student in the world can multiply 10 times 60, or 10 times 38, or 10 times 50, or 10 times 52. Why?
Just add a 0.
You just add a 0. So most of you can do that. So if you can find a 10 right there, use it. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that. I wish there was another 10, but there's not. I'm going to go ahead and multiply this times this because that's easy numbers. 3 times 13 is what? 39. So I got a 10 and a 39, so that's 390. And then times 2. And I left that 2 out because most of us can divide by 2. Even if we have to write it on a piece of paper, most of us can multiply by 2. I hope I can say divide, multiply. So 39 times 10 is 390. And 390 times 2 is what? 780. Good job. So the greatest common divisor is 780. Now I'm going to give you the definition for 780. The definition for the greatest common divisor is the smallest, and you need to write this down, smallest number that 60 and 130 will divide into. Now right now it's called the greatest common divisor. In the next section, what is it going to be called? Anybody know? No. I think it's 5.3. It's going to be called the greatest. You're getting there. Common. What's in the bottom of a fraction? Denominator.
That's what I've been saying, but I didn't want to say it out loud because I was afraid I'd be lying.
No, I just make fun of it.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't want to do that.
In 5.3, this number right here is going to be your greatest common denominator, and then you'll learn how to do fractions without having to rely on a calculator. And it's not very challenging. It's not. It's real easy if you do it the way I tell you. So let's try nerd. I'll leave that up there for a second.
You said if it divides, then do it, and if it doesn't, then bring it.
Bring it down.
I'll write that down.
And if you can't, I think you're going to have this video to follow on if it doesn't crash. I hope. If I did, I hope I didn't hit freeze again. All right, let's try nerd. Let's try 144 and 1280. I'm sorry. I think it's about to crash, but it sure is doing this a lot. It'll crash right when I get ready to turn the video off.
Don't jinx yourself.
You should do that on the board and just turn it off.
Well, I like to use it up here because it's easier for people to see right there, and it's easier for me to go from than it is to erase and do all that up here. That's why I use it.
You didn't have it last semester. You didn't have it last semester.
I wasn't teaching an online class,
Oh.
and they said, "Well, Hubert, you got to do. You're going to teach 102 at 8:30, and then you have 102 online." I said, "Well, I might as well video it, and that way the 102 students can have the videos from my class." And they said, "Wow, that's a neat idea."
Yeah, you gotta quit using that logic, man. People are gonna expect it.
Yeah, I mean, oh. All right, we're going to stop after this one because I need to pick him up and I got to shut down the computer and all. This will give you all a little bit to chew on for next class. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. All right, now I know 12 will go into 144, but that doesn't help me any because 12 is not up there. So, but we know 2 will go into both of them because they're both what? Even. So So I'm going to do what I always do. I just divide by 2 or 3 until I get it down to more manageable numbers. 2 will go into 144 72 times. And 2 will go into 12 6 times. And 2 will go into 80 4 times. Now I'm doing it that way to show you that we're not talking about rocket science here. Okay, so that's why I'm saying we don't need a calculator for this. Okay, now again, I think they're both even, so we can divide by 2 again. 2 will go into 36. 2 will go into 6 3 times, and 2 will go into 40 20 times. They're still even. 2 will go into 36 18 times. 2 will go into 3 1 time. That'll leave 1, which will be 12. 2 will go into 12 6 times, which leaves 0. And that goes there. We still got evens. That's 9 and what? 80? I think 9 will go into 80, will it not? No, it won't. I'm thinking of 18, sorry. 3, no. 2, no. I think we're at the real math stops. Real math stops means that we've got a least common multiple. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So that'd be 2 to the 4th power. 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8 times 2 is what? 16. So your least common multiple is 16. I'm going to go over here and say least common multiple is equal to 2 to the 4th, which is equal to 16. And 3, be a 3 here and an 80 here. 3, be a 1 here and an 80 here. And I think 5, that comes down. 5 will go into 80. I know 1 time and 6. And 3 times, no, 4 would be 2. 2, that'd be a 1 and a 8. And I'm going to put a 2 to the 3rd here. 2 to the 3rd is 8. I'm running out of room. But you're going to get 2 to the 3rd. So we need to count our 2's up. So there's 3 right here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 to the 8th power. The greatest common divisor is 2 to the 8th power. So that takes care of all of our 2's. And then what else? 3 to the 2nd times 5. 3 to the 2nd times 5. Now there is...
220.
Hold on. Let me finish. I don't want to do anything yet. Just make sure I wrote down everything correctly. Now there is a way that you can do this in your head. Believe it or not. What did I say about 10s? Always try to get a 10 out. Is there a 10 up there? Yes. Take one of these 2's off and multiply it by that 5. So that'd be 2 to the 7th times 3 to the 2nd times 5 times 2. Everybody see what I did? I took one of these 2's and dropped that to 7 and brought it over here. And that's what?
10.
Then the only thing you've got to worry about is these 2 guys. Well, that's easy. 3 to the 2nd. You know what that is. But what's this? Always remember, 2 to the 5th is 32. Remember that. Write that down. 2 to the 5th is 32. If 2 to the 5th is 32, then what's 2 to the 6th? 64. That's right, class. Okay? And what's 64 to the what's 2 to the 7th? 128, that's right. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. And if you remember that, and the reason I tell you to remember 2 to the 5th, because most of y'all can do 2 to the 4th. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 4 times 4, which is 16. It's when you get to the 5th, 6th, and 7th, y'all start going haywire. Okay, so I just tell you, 2 to the 5th is 32, and then you can do the rest. So what is this? What I just said this was? 128? 128, and this is 9. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to multiply these two together because those are the two biggest numbers. So what is 128 times 10? Lord's miracle. That's one from my favorite movie, Shawshank Redemption, when the warden comes in and the guy's gone. Lord's miracle. Times 9. And now you can do whatever you need to do. If you need to use a calculator, that's fine. That's not a problem. But 9 times 1, 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 8 is 72. So that's 70. 9 times 2 is 18 plus the 20. Yeah, 20. And then the 7 is 18 plus 7 is 25. So 11, 5, 20. Somebody check me. And that's how you do the greatest common divisor. All right, I already called the roll. Y'all get out of here. Work on, what homework should y'all be working on? 5.1. Okay? And send questions to me so we can go over them. If I don't receive questions Wednesday morning, then what am I going to assume? That you understand it? I'm going on to 5.2. Y'all have a, will you get through sneezing?
Sorry.
Lord, I can't finish a sentence. All right, y'all have a good day. Oh, Lord. Let me see if I can cut the video off.